Cultural values are interactions between biological and cultural properties. They can be tangible, which are values that you can see and touch, like rock engravings, caves, scar trees, plants, animals, and other environmental factors. Or they can be intangible, which are things you can't touch, like spirits, songs, dance, stories, and knowledge. Biocultural values are very important to Aboriginal people. It allows them to manage the land and environment around them to pass it on to future generations. There's evidence of Australian Aboriginals being around for over 60,000 years. The traditional owners of the university land were the Wadamadigal clan of the Durag Nation, with a population of 5,000 to 8,000 Aboriginals over the Sydney region. The Durag Nation are now re-establishing the biocultural links and historic processes with local communities. Understanding the biocultural values around Mars Creek means that they can be managed and protected to support the environment and Aboriginal people around Macquarie. Researching biocultural values in the area creates an increased value, protecting it from serious development. It also means that the area can be managed to protect species and increase the biodiversity, protecting the native species of Australia. Researching the biocultural values of Mars Creek, which runs from the Marsville suburb through an urban stormwater onto campus for over a kilometre and then into Lane Cove National Park, will enable the understanding of the values of the biodiversity for the Mars Creek rehabilitation on campus, allowing the management of the Mars Creek to consider the biocultural values. The street map shows that Mars Creek is surrounded by urbanisation. This may result in certain elements entering the creek which may pose a threat to the biocultural values. This needs to be understood for certain management techniques within the area. And vegetation types will determine the different biocultural values that can be observed. There is a small area of rainforest along the Lane Cove River. The land use map shows that Mars Creek is on educational land when it's on campus, then goes under the M2 motorway to enter parkland of the Lane Cove National Park. There are about 76 Aboriginal sites located across Sydney. There is one Aboriginal site very close to Mars Creek in Lane Cove National Park. This site is a rock engraving just north of where Mars Creek joins the Lane Cove River. Within the Sydney region there are several middens and shelters with middens. These are only the sites that have been found. There may be more sites around Sydney that have not yet been recorded. To collect biocultural values around Mars Creek, we created an app using CyberTracker software. CyberTracker was created in South Africa to track animals to improve the conservation and reduce poaching. After hundreds of years, traditional hunter-gatherer methods were dying out from the introduction of modern processes and the input of roads and fences, which were stopping migration routes. The development of the app in the 1990s enabled tracking and conservation of animals, just in a more efficient way to help Aboriginal people. Using CyberTracker enabled us to create an app which allowed us to record data whilst in the field. First, we created a title page to start the field research from. Pressing the arrow takes you to the task page. Here, we started the GPS to record the route we took around Mars Creek and to allow the exact points of where the biocultural values were present. When selecting the Biocultural Values tab on the task page, it takes you to a list of the possible values that we predicted to see around Mars Creek. When we saw one of these values, we entered it into the app so the GPS location would be recorded. We uploaded our data back onto the CyberTracker software, allowing me to analyse the data and input it into GIS. We took 24 observations around Mars Creek. Most of the biocultural values are within Lane Cove National Park where they're being protected. Management is still required within the national park to allow the species to their full capacity and biodiversity. We recorded a number of biocultural values around Mars Creek, including the lake, which provides water for drinking, cleaning and habitats. The Aboriginal circle shows intangible biocultural values, as that would be where song, dance and stories would be shared. Sydney golden wattle has edible seeds that can be ground and stored. Grass trees have inflorescent central shoots that are used as fire sticks. They have a resin that's used as a glue and then stored by drying and grinding it as a powder. The strap-like leaves were used for weaving into baskets. Eucalyptus trees like the spotted gum tree and blackbutt allow shade, bark for paintings, firewood and a water supply which is shown by scars. Biocultural values are very important to Australian Aboriginals and Indigenous people. They provide an intrinsic meaning, so they should be protected and managed, which will enable an increase of biodiversity in the area.